Hi everyone, my name is Brianna Marshall. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and welcome to my channel, Therapy with Brianna. In this channel, we are going to talk about all things mental wellness, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and comment below any topics you'd like to hear me talk about. Today we're going to talk about how to have a healthy co-parenting relationship. In a healthy co-parenting relationship, you want to move from an intimate romantic relationship to a business relationship. And in this case, the business is raising your child or children in a healthy environment. In a co-parenting business relationship, we do not make assumptions about our co-parent. We don't assume why they did what they did. We don't assume decisions they're gonna make or opinions they're gonna have. We ask. We also offer formal courtesies. This means when we approach each other, we do simple things like, hello, how are you? How was the weekend together? We treat them with civility and with care and compassion. In a co-parenting relationship, there is little emotional investment, right? Again, we have moved away from our intimate, connected relationship to a business relationship. So there isn't any space for a lot of emotional connectivity. There is also very little confrontation in a business relationship. We talk about facts. In this case, we talk about our child. What do we need to coordinate with our child? Schedules, time. So there's very little confrontation in a healthy co-parenting relationship. In a business co-parenting relationship, there is low personal disclosure. I know that some co-parents pride themselves on remaining really good friends with their co-parent. And if you can have a level of friendship with your co-parent, that's great. But again, in a healthy co-parenting relationship, we want it to be more business-like. So there is a low personal disclosure. We are not calling our co-parent and talking about the dates that we just went on and how they went. We are not talking about deep personal emotional issues like the drama going on with our family or a situation going on with our friends. There is high personal privacy in a co-parenting relationship. We want to move away from this person being that intimate, deep connected person that you had previously in your romantic relationship and move toward this is someone who I am co-parenting with, who we only talk about our children, who we make decisions with our children and find the best way to raise them to our values. In co-parenting, you want to make sure that the time arrangements you have with your child are developmentally and age appropriate. So what that means, in the state in which I practice, it's very common for custody to be 1 week on, 1 week off. And that means a child will spend 7 full days with one parent and then 7 full days with the other parent, and they go back and forth. And look, for older kids, that's probably okay, right? But for really little kids, that is very challenging. It's so hard for these little babies to be away from their parent for a full week, especially if your child is still nursing or still at home, they're not in school. There's just a lot of things that come into play when we're talking about time sharing. So make sure that if at all possible, you and your co-parent are able to come up with a custody agreement that is developmentally and age appropriate for your child. Sometimes in a co-parenting arrangement, we have to understand that greater distance requires greater effort on both parts. I've seen so many cases where a divorce occurs and now someone has to develop their own income and provide for themselves. And that sometimes means taking a job outside of the city, outside of the state in order to provide more for their family. And I've seen too many times parents who say, well, you moved away, I didn't, and they don't take into account that their child is now spending less time with that parent. So I know it's difficult, I know it's unfair, and I know it's really challenging, but children love both of their parents. And so if you move to the other side of town, or sometimes if you move to a different state, it's important to recognize that it is still the responsibility of both parents to make sure that whatever works for their family, that their child gets to spend time with them. Make sure your children feel welcome in your home. So this is something that I hear a lot of parents struggle with, and that is, in many cases, when a divorce happens, one parent remains in the main home the child is familiar with, and another parent moves out to a new home. And they often get their feelings hurt because children will feel like the main home they are comfortable with is their home, and then that other home is mom's home, dad's home, or someone else. And so parents often struggle because they're like, wait, this is your home too. This is your home too. I want you to feel comfortable here. So one thing parents can do is make sure their child feels welcome in a new space. That means giving them their own room, letting them decorate their own space. You know, for some parents, times are tough and they have to move into a one-bedroom apartment and their child doesn't have the opportunity to have their own space. So in those cases, you want to be more creative with your space. Can the child decorate their own bathroom? I knew a parent who did this brilliant thing. When he divorced his co-parent, he had to move into a one-bedroom apartment, and that's all he could afford at the time. So what he did is he let his daughter decorate that room however she wanted. And I remember him saying that, you know, she put pink comforters all over the bed and had Justin Bieber posters posted on the wall. And what he did was he told her that that was her room. And when she came to spend time with him, she slept in that room and he slept on the couch. And then what he did is when she would go spend time with his co-parent, he would say, hey, do you mind if I borrow your room while you're gone? And then he would sleep in the room when she was at her other parent's house. And that helped her feel like it was her space, that she identified with it, and he borrowed it from time to time until he was able to eventually get back on his feet and provide a better space for both of them. And I love stories like that of parents being flexible and understanding the need of their child to have their own space and that being a priority over them.